The NEA must unendorse Joe Biden. Hello, my name is Mark Norberg. I'm an 8th grade English teacher and candidate for NEA president. The purpose of this video is to make clear where I stand on the moral responsibility of our organization in the face of the Tara Reade allegations. We now find ourselves in the situation of having endorsed, without the consent of our members, a candidate for president that is facing a serious accusation of sexual assault. The accusation is credible and deserves to be investigated to determine its validity. In making this call to unendorse, I am in no way suggesting that Vice President Biden is in fact guilty of the accusation, merely that the accusation meets precedents set by our own union, and that the same standards that have been applied before must be applied now. And until we can be certain that our members' time, money, and resources are being used to uphold the values of our organization, the executive team must withdraw their endorsement of Vice President Biden or allow a democratic vote of the body to confirm or reject the endorsement. This action is warranted for three very important reasons. Number one, the allegation is credible. We know that Tara Reade was an aide to Senator Biden. We know that so far she has no known history of making false claims of this sort. We know that to date, 4 witnesses have come forward to corroborate her story, stating they were told of the assault at the time it allegedly occurred: a close friend, a fellow staffer, her brother, and a former neighbor who, it's important to note, is actually a Biden supporter. And we now have audio of her mother calling into Larry King and mentioning the assault, also at the time of the alleged incident. Furthermore, we know that 7 other women have accused Vice President Biden of inappropriate physical behavior. Finally, we know that Tara Reade was suddenly reassigned following the incident, with no explanation given as to why. Unendorsement is warranted for a second important reason. The allegation meets our own previous standards for disassociation. When Christine Blasey Ford accused Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh of sexually assaulting her in high school with no witnesses to corroborate her attack, unlike Tara Reade, our union's condemnation and calls for an investigation were swift and unequivocal. On September 17, 2018, President Lily Eskelsen Garcia released the following press statement, quote, "The Senate has a moral obligation to take these allegations seriously and take action. Sexual assault is a heinous crime, and this allegation is directly relevant to determining Brett Kavanaugh's character and fitness." The press release went on to say, quote, "The vote cannot go forward until Kavanaugh and his past are thoroughly, fairly, and publicly investigated." The NEA also organized a petition calling on its members to urge the Senate to reject Judge Kavanaugh's nomination. If Christine Blasey Ford's allegation was relevant to determining Kavanaugh's character and fitness, then so is Tara Reade's. Failing to act now, as we did then, opens this organization up to charges of moral hypocrisy and political cronyism, and tarnishes our previous courageous support of Christine Blasey Ford by allowing for the possibility that it was nothing but a crass political act. The third and final reason we must unendorse is perhaps the most important. The allegation meets our own professional standards as educators. If Tara Reade's allegations were brought to us by a student, there isn't a single member who would hesitate to take immediate action. As educators, we are bound by our profession to be mandated reporters, to be on the front lines of those who can be most trusted to stand with victims and advocate for the truth. Never have we told ourselves that that responsibility ends at the door to our classrooms or when a D comes before someone's name. For these reasons, I call on the NEA, my fellow candidates for office, our executive team, and President Lily Eskelsen Garcia to adhere to the same moral standards regarding the Tara Reade accusations as we have demonstrated in the past. I call on the NEA to unendorse Joe Biden. There will be those who say that pushing for an investigation of Joe Biden runs the risk of damaging his chances in the general election against Donald Trump, who they will say is far too dangerous to be given that opportunity. To those critics, I say this: prioritizing the protection of a candidate is an act of fear. You don't win with a strategy based on fear. You win with courage, and the greatest courage comes from putting principles over all else, especially politics. I'll end with another quote from President Lily Eskelsen Garcia, who had this to say in defense of an investigation into Brett Kavanaugh. Quote, "This is not about politics. This is about doing what is right." As a union, we are now faced with demonstrating whether or not that statement was true. If you agree with what I've said here, sign the petition posted with this video or at my website, norberg for neapres.com. Thank you.